Welcome everyone to another edition of Play It Through, and on this edition it's Shadow Dancer, The Secret of Shinobi for the Sega Master System, brought to us by Sega. Shadow Dancer is based on the arcade game Shadow Dancer, which was the second game in the Shinobi series. And even though this game follows the arcade version of the game, it only has half the levels, and there's some other various changes. The game that was released for the Genesis and Mega Drive is actually a completely different game from this one and the arcade one. Here we go with Shadow Dancer for the Sega Master System. Unfortunately, like a lot of other great Sega Master System games, this game was not released in North America and was only available in the PAL format. When you start up the game, we go to level 1, which is in the airport. Now this game has an optional goal in each level, which isn't optional in the arcade version, and that's collecting bombs in every level. If you're able to collect all the bombs in a level, you get a power-up for the boss, which is a lot of help, and we'll be getting it in every level. The gameplay is very similar to the arcade game of the original Shinobi, or Shadow Dancer if you've ever played that. It's one-hit death, and you throw your shurikens out at enemies in order to take them out. You also have the power-up ability of your dog companion that you can use on standard enemies like the machine gunners, as well as you have ninja magic you can do in order to take out a large amount of enemies on screen. If you hold down the duck button and then press button 1, you'll be able to use the dog in order to help you. But like I said, it can only be used on certain enemies. In order to do your normal ninja magic, you have to hold the up button and then press button 1 in order to do that, and you can see that's represented in the lower right corner. In this level, we currently have the tornado ability. While the dog is very cool, it takes a little bit to charge him up, so he isn't overall that useful in this version of the game. Take out the final few enemies that take multiple hits to take out, and now we go on to the boss. The bosses in the game can be rather difficult because, just like the levels, you only have one hit to get hit by. For this boss, you start off immediately by ducking down with every boss. Start jumping up in about the middle of the screen, firing consistently at the boss. You'll then have to move back and forth left and right, dodging in and out of the glowing orbs that he throws out at you. If you got the power up from getting all the bombs, it only takes a few hits to actually take him out, but the boss battle is rather difficult even with that. You'll have to get used to the moving mechanics in the game before you'll probably be able to take him out. Then, after beating a level, you have a bonus game. The bonus game after levels 1 and 3 look like this, where you're throwing up your throwing stars at ninjas on a building. The thing about this is, it's impossible to win it. It seems like no matter what you do, the final few ninjas will actually be invulnerable to your attacks and attack you nonetheless, and you'll lose the minigame. The minigame at the end of level 2 is actually beatable, and we'll show that when we get to the end of the stage. Level 2 takes place on a train. You have similar enemies to the ones we had in the first level. Standard machine gun enemies start off the level and they'll take a couple of hits to take out. Be sure to take out the second guy to pick up the bomb. Be careful with enemies in this game and bomb locations. There's only able to be one bomb on screen at a time, and if an enemy actually drops a bomb and you already had a bomb on screen, the bomb won't appear. Here's an example of the fire magic that I'm able to do, and I'm able to take out a normal enemy with it. Just like in the first level with the machine gun guys, you can use your dog here in order to take out the knife throwing guys that just stand still from a distance. Thankfully, the knife-throwing enemies wait a few seconds before they even attack, so you have plenty of opportunity to take them out. The hardest enemy may be near the end of the level. Just be careful that when he bounces towards you, that he doesn't end up landing on you. Grab the last bomb at the end for the power-up, and we move on to the boss fight. For this boss, do short little jumps in order to attack it. The more damage you do to it, though, the faster its firing rate becomes, so you'll have to be careful when shooting at it. When you get it down to one hit, you may need to get a little bit close to it and time your jump to do a little short jump while holding the back button so that you actually are able to do damage to the boss, but also dodge that final fireball. After completing the level, you move on to the bonus stage for this level. You'll be falling down between two buildings. This is similar to the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive version of the game. You'll be throwing out your kunai at all the enemies that are bouncing back and forth between the buildings. Just keep firing really quickly in the middle of the screen, and you should be able to take out actually all the enemies that way. You may have to move a little bit, but not much. The farther you fall down between the two buildings, the closer you get to the bottom of the screen, so you have less and less time to actually attack the enemies. If you're able to complete it though, you end up getting an extra life, and then we move on to stage number 3, which is in the sewers. This is the toughest level to get all the bombs in because it's kind of glitchy. Start off by doing some low throwing stars at the first enemy in order to hit him in his legs. The hardest enemy to deal with in this level is going to be the alligators. These alligators will actually contain bombs, and that's why it's pretty annoying to deal with this stage. Watch out for the knife-throwing enemies, like always, and be sure that you attack the ones above you before you try to make it over to this platform. Once again, keep doing low attacks in order to take out the orange ninja who slowly walks towards you. Here I'll showcase the red orb ability and take out this yellow ninja. For the alligators, what you'll have to do is jump over their tail swipe and keep throwing stars when you choose short jumps. Amazingly enough, their hitbox is actually quite large, and even though you're throwing stars straight out, you'll actually hit them. For the boss, you'll have to keep throwing your throwing stars powered up at this boss as he slowly walks towards you. Every time the shield goes away for just a split second, you'll be able to get one of those projectiles in and actually do damage to this boss. I find that this boss is probably the easiest one of the ones in the game. Here we have the bonus stage for stage number 3, and it's pretty much same as stage number 1 that you won't be able to complete it because for some reason, one of the final ninjas will be invulnerable. We then move on to the final level of the game, stage number 4. Lure the bouncing ninja to just jump over your head and continue walking over to the right. Of course, on any of the just standing alone guys, you can use your dog in order to help you out, or just throw the throwing stars when they stand up for a quick attack. You really won't see anything new in this level, so just watch out for the standing enemies and just let the bouncy ones just go right over your head. Just be sure though that you attack the right enemies so that you can collect all the bombs. Here you'll have to defeat both the top and bottom enemy in order to collect 2 bombs. Then defeat this final enemy and grab the last bomb. Here I'm just using the tornado ability because I hadn't shown it off yet, even though I've now defeated all the enemies. It's now time for the final boss battle of the game. After we battle at one another, duck down on the bottom left side and then immediately start attacking the green flying enemies that come out of her. You'll have to jump at some of them or duck for other ones, but that's how you're actually able to defeat all her health. Then for the second form, get in close to her and duck down and attack. You can see every time you get close, she tries to take a swipe at you with her weapon, but you're able to throw one of your powered up weapons right at her kneecaps. After only a few, she'll fall off screen, and now you can sit back and enjoy the ending to Shadow Dancer. So there you have Shadow Dancer, The Secret of Shinobi for the Sega Master System. A rather easy game once you know what you're doing in it, but it can be rather tough, especially on the boss battles, without the powered up weaponry. A lot of people will probably not get past the first boss the first time they actually play the game. But with that, that's going to wrap up this edition of Play It Through. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.